September 1966. With the success of Gemini 10, NASA is ready to shift its focus from practice to perfection. Gemini 11 aims to utilize the Agena docking target vehicle to boost a manned spacecraft into the highest orbit of the Earth ever achieved, nearly 600 miles above the pale blue dot. Here, the crew will be able to perform two extravehicular activities: conduct gravity and radiological experiments, and make stellar observations never before possible. The crew is ready for anything. Pete Conrad, the commander of Gemini 11, is fresh from his duration flight aboard Gemini 5. His old Navy flying partner, Richard Gordon, is the pilot and scheduled to make two spacewalks on the busy flight of Gemini 11. On September 12th, Gemini 11 launches its Agena soar into the sky. A few hours later, Conrad and Gordon follow it into space. Conrad and Gordon rendezvoused with the Agena faster than any other mission had previously, only 94 minutes. After circling the Agena and inspecting it for damage, Gemini 11 moved into dock. Shortly after the third successful docking of two spacecraft in space, Conrad and Gordon signaled to their Agena's computer to initiate a prograde burn. This would accelerate the combined spacecraft into an elliptical orbit around the Earth higher than any humans had ever been, 600 miles above the atmosphere of their planet. Cradled before them in an endless sea of black, Conrad and Gordon viewed a truly spectacular sight. The Earth as it really is. The pair docked and undocked 4 times, and after several hours of this exercise, Gordon prepared to begin his first EVA. After depressurizing the spacecraft and exiting the hatch, Gordon fastened a 100-foot tether to the Agena docking collar for a gravity experiment to be conducted the next day. Gordon achieved this, but not without some difficulty. As on other Gemini missions, Gordon found the activities fatiguing. However, he was able to successfully attach the tether, and after 35 minutes, he returned inside. Now, the voice of Richard Gordon.
My right hand. Well, a little simple task that I had done many times in training to the tune of about 30 seconds lasted about 30 minutes. And this was a monumental task, really, as far as I'm concerned. I was really surprised. I had gotten everything that I wanted in terms of equipment, tethers, and everything else from all the people that we've worked with. It was my decision to go this way because I was so convinced that that task would be real easy to perform. Well, it was my error. It really wasn't easy to perform, and it was a great deal of work. I'm sure all of you that heard part of the air to ground in real time can probably imagine the amount of work that it was. Well, I was so single-minded at this time that I was going to get that tether on come hell or high water. And the tether was finally put in place.
The next day, Conrad and Gordon fired their rocket once more, this time a retrograde burn. This would slow the combined spacecraft down and insert it once more into a 120 by 120 circular orbit of the Earth. Gordon performed his second EVA, standing up in the Gemini hatch and performing 12 scientific experiments related to radiation and stellar observation. Gordon stayed in space for longer than any other human up to that point, just a hair over 2 hours outside the Gemini. After a day of rest and relaxation, the crew undocked from the Agena with the tether attached and performed multiple maneuvering experiments with the Agena. 2 spacecraft at the end of a 100-foot-long rope, spinning in circles around the Earth. It was the first and only time that artificial gravity was created inside of a manned spacecraft. Conrad and Gordon watched as objects inside the Gemini were pulled to the walls. It was a scientific and engineering achievement of the first order. On September 15th, Conrad and Gordon initiated retrofire over the Pacific Ocean. The crew had accomplished more in 3.5 days than all previous missions had combined. 1 rendezvous, 5 dockings, 2 EVAs, and 2 burns of the Agena engine. It was a shining moment for NASA.